You've got a great idea for a story. You've thought about how best to tell it, but did you forget the sound? Jess is at Aardman Animations, behind the scenes of the Shaun the Sheep movie, to find out about the last, most important part of telling a great story on film.
A lot of filmmakers, actually, they don't really think about sound. They're a bit scared of sound. They don't really know what it does. Sound can enhance a story. We can subliminally, almost invisibly, create the mood and emotions of a scene, and the audience doesn't really know it. Sound is very important in Shaun the Sheep, the movie. There's no words, so every little bar, every little woof, every tweet has to have a shape to it that makes you understand what that character's feeling.
How did you start on the sound for Shaun the Sheep, the movie?
I mean, I started work on this film almost a year ago. When we start off, we put sounds to the storyboard, and slowly the storyboard gets replaced by real shots. The scenes, which that's the animation, is filmed and then put into the film.
How does a sound affect a scene?
A good sound edit is one that you don't really necessarily are aware of. It's one that you feel, and it can be in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Even, sometimes it can be silence. Every emotion on the planet, we can produce it in sound. We can make you feel happy, we can make you feel sound. We can put thunder in, which is a bit scary. We can put tweety birds in, which are a bit happy. Would you be surprised if I told you there's over 1 million sounds?
No way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, easily, yeah. We have lots of different jobs in sound. There's me, who's like the sound designer, and then we have another guy called the foley artist. Do you know who a foley artist is? What it is?
No.
Foley basically is making silly noises to the pictures on the screen. So sound designer and foley artists differ slightly in that the sound designer will focus on effects that are, for example, machines or a scary wind happening in the background, whereas we specifically focus on the props and the things characters touch. A key example is the footsteps. Every time you hear their footsteps running into screen, every time you hear them run out, that is us making sounds for their feet. We do that in a number of ways, whether we're using our hands with gloves on, or sometimes I've got like dog bones. It's trial and error. Sometimes, you don't necessarily know what's going to make the right sound. You might hit one bit of wood and say that's not right and move on to the next. So the real talent is to be able to do it perfectly to the image and exactly match what they're doing.
How does Foley help the story?
So for Shaun the Sheep, you can go over the top a lot more because it's animated and it's not necessarily realistic. You can go a bit more excessive with the sounds you make. We have to create everything you find out on the street, but we have to do it in this room. It doesn't take a studio to be able to hear what good sounds are around you. You might know that your kitchen chair creaks nicely. You might know that the front door has a brilliant squeak or nice little rattle to the chain or something. We can use instruments sometimes for comical effect. If someone hits their head in a comedy, you might want the sound of a cymbal.
Music can have a really strong effect on film. The directors and I, we like this idea of on the farm it's acoustic and folky, so we knew we wanted to use guitars and ukuleles and foot stomping and claps and those kinds of instruments. But the city, there's electricity, and because it is a big movie experience, we knew that we wanted to have orchestra as well. The story is dramatic, and the characters, Shaun and Bitzer and the sheep, they're really in a very serious and dramatic situation. So you need to match that level of emotional intensity with the right scale of instrumentation. If you're trying to make your own film and trying to work out where to put music, you should just try throwing music up against the scene and seeing how it happens. And sometimes the weirdest combinations, the thing that you least expected would work, does something that's really interesting. And then you might want to think about setting the scene. So like even if you just had a shot of a house, if you put sad music over that shot of the house, then when you go inside, you know that the people inside are sad. And if you put happy music on the shot of the house, then you know they're happy inside. We had 40 strings, 5 woodwinds, 2 flutes, an oboe, a clarinet and a bassoon. And then we had 3 French horns, a trumpet, a trombone, a bass trombone, a tuba, harp and piano and timpani.
I can only play the keyboard, that's it.
Well, that's good. You're probably better than me.
Jess,
Hi, Peter.
you okay?
Sort of. It's just I don't have an orchestra or a studio at my house. I never realised how much went into telling a story. How am I ever going to do it?
You don't need all that stuff, you know. When I started out, I was at school and we had a kitchen table and some plasticine and a camera, very simple things, and ideas. And as long as you've got great ideas, that's really all that matters. You know, from there, make up a story. That's the important part of filmmaking.
Bear.